through 3 quarters and kept it up with a 32-point night. 9 assists along the way. Booker actually finished with 27, and a monster night from DeAndre Ayton with 22 points and 19 rebounds, historic in fact, as Phoenix wins it 118 to 105. Welcome in. It's Game Time Live at the Finals, presented by YouTube TV. We got our friends behind us. We got champions here on the set. Steve Smith, Isaiah Thomas, and joining us remotely, Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny Smith. I'll turn to the fellas who are in the arena along with us. First of all, so great to be here and to have this atmosphere again for the finals. What struck you about Game 1 here, Smitty?
Well, it started off, Isaiah. When you looked at it, Devin Booker set the tone for me in the first quarter, getting a chance to get in rhythm. But in that third quarter, I still can't understand how they going to tweak switching 1-5 pick and roll, and Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and the entire Suns team got whatever they wanted in that third quarter with that 1-5 switching of pick and rolls of the Milwaukee Bucks. Adjustments, not for the Milwaukee Bucks.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, that's the thing that stood out to me the most. Yeah. Chris Paul in the third quarter, Devin Booker really taking turns against Lopez. They figured out the Milwaukee defense. Once they figured out the defense, they let Paul play in the middle of the floor. And you cannot let a point guard this good with this kind of skill stay in the middle of the floor matched up against a 7-foot center. It's a point guard's dream, and Chris Paul lived it tonight.
Brook Lopez is a much improved defensive player, but he is a fish out of water in that situation against Paul or Booker. Likewise, Bobby Portis. They were targeting him when Lopez came out of the game. Bucks went a little smaller at the beginning of the fourth quarter, and that's something to watch for as this series progresses. Shaq, for you, watching at home, what's your takeaway from Game 1?
Well, I thought, Phoenix played well. I thought the others played great. DeAndre Ayton, as a big man, great start his first finals. I'm really proud of him. It's nice, and, Isaiah and Steve and Kenny knows about this. It's nice when you can have a 1-2 punch. First half was all Devin Booker, and then that third quarter, Chris Paul said, you know what, this is my first finals. I'm going to work. I know what I got to do. But the others played great. The dancer played great. He played with great energy. They fed off the energy off the crowd, and they did what they're supposed to do. As for Milwaukee, if they're going to win, the 1-2 punch for Milwaukee has to be remarkable. In the pregame we talked about, the two meetings between Milwaukee and Phoenix. How Giannis averaged 40. He's going to have to probably average around that, to get a win.
Kenny, to you, what did you see here in Game 1 tonight?
Well, I'm probably going to reiterate what Steve and Isaiah said. First of all, you think about this. If Chris Paul was guarding Lopez in the post, would they come double? You'd be like, yeah, they come double him. So why, when Lopez is guarding Chris Paul on the perimeter, that you allow him to play one-on-one? It's like it looks like the silliest thing that you've ever seen. If you're a point guard at any magnitude who can score the basketball, you go, this is exactly what I want. If you're a post guy, you go, this is what I want. So I don't understand it. It looks very similar to Atlanta Game 1 when they had the drop defense, and that didn't work against Trae Young. They're going to have to make the adjustment, either go small, or you're going to have to double the pick and roll or hedge and get over. You cannot allow – you would never let Brook Lopez play one-on-one in the post against Chris Paul. No team would do that. So why would you do it in reverse? That's the logic if you're a fan at home. That's how simple it is.
Yeah, it was baffling for those of us watching it take place because of how long it went on for the Bucks with this defensive switching and putting Lopez and then Portis out on that island repeatedly.
Isaiah, Matt, Kenny, and Shaq, I understand if the guy couldn't get over, he got hung up on the pick. But it was almost an automatic switch. It was easy. Yeah. If you're going to come out, you got to at least try to get over, like Kenny said. Also for me is fight as the team. I'm going to make an adjustment if the coach is not going to make an adjustment. We're going to do something different because it was just too easy. It looks like they was playing practice run through the offense against the Milwaukee Bucks defense.
So I do have a question if I could ask.
Yeah, please.
Isaiah. Isaiah, if you played in this modern day era and you could just pick out the defender and say, that's the guy I want to guard me because they're going to switch. How many? Now, you almost did you lead the league in scoring one year or come close to it? I don't remember. You and Kelly Chapuka. But how many points in game would you average? Because you're very similar in size and stature. In a season, if you could pick out every single time which guy to guard.
I mean, easy 40. Especially if they're going to let me shoot the basketball as often as the point guard gets to shoot it. Really easy 40 because now I'm shooting layups and I'm getting any shot that I want against a big man. I mean, it really is unfair to have a big man guard a small man out on the perimeter, and because all you're going to do is take him to the basket. And like I say, Chris Paul got a chance to live his dream tonight by having bigs and power forwards guarding him out on the perimeter.
Well, we'll get into that a little deeper as we continue on. Right now, let's welcome in Mikal Bridges.
Role in this 13th win. As you were there in the building, how would you best describe what he provided this Suns group tonight?
Well, it was a sensational performance. You've got a veteran leader that's had 16 years in the league, and even with devoid of a championship, is still recognized as one of the greatest point guards to have ever played this game. But when you couple that with the inabilities of the Milwaukee Bucks, you look at CP3 and you say, well, duh, what did you expect from him when you're going to put Bobby Portis on them, when you got Brook Lopez on them, when you got P.J. Tucker on them? Wilbon and I were just talking about that a few minutes ago. What the hell do you expect is going to happen? It is mind-boggling to me how I don't want to be insulting, but absolutely clueless the Milwaukee Bucks appeared last night in being prepared for this game. You know that CP3 and Devin Booker, you know what they're going to give to you, particularly when they're hitting their perimeter shots. But a guy like CP3 is literally picking defenders. Who am I going to pick on next? Right. And absolutely, positively no adjustment was made whatsoever, and that's why he looked so spectacular.
So you didn't want to be insulting, but they were clueless.
Yeah, I'm trying to be. Look, Scott, man, I'm trying to be nice, but at the same time, give you and our audience what it is. Tim Legler was right there. He's far nicer than me, I guess. But the bottom line is, he knows exactly what I'm saying. If you look at the adjustments and then look at the ball movement, look at how Monty Williams has these guys moving without the ball. But Milwaukee was standing around and just trying to give the ball to Middleton.
I understand, and I'm trying to be nice to you, but Chris Paul's standing by, and so I'm going to have to say thank you for now, and we will welcome Chris Paul to the show. Chris, thank you. It's Scott Van Pelt. Welcome back to the program. A tremendous performance tonight.
What's happening?
You've been through so much in this game. There's nothing that's new to you, and yet this is the first finals game, and I wonder what, if anything, about it felt different than anything you have experienced to date in your illustrious career.
Another game, obviously. The stakes a little higher. The intensity was there, but we're prepared. Our coaches prepared us. All of our guys on our team, we didn't put in the work, so now it's time to get to it.
And you did get to it, and just your ability to find the matchup you wanted and exploit it, was that what you came into this game sort of eyeballing? This is what we want to try to do.
Well, you take what they give you. When they played big, they switched early, then they sort of went into a drop. Then they went small. We saw them switching everything against the Hawks. So, we just seen every coverage you could see all season long, and our team just has so much depth. So if you try to take one thing away, we'll just find the next guy.
In Booker, Ayton, Bridges, and I'm talking just about the young guys for the moment, just because this is their first run through the postseason, Chris. You've been through it so often. I don't know if proud is the right word, but how do you best describe what you're getting from these young guys and how you feel about what you're getting?
I kind of talk crazy to them sometimes because they're going to think it's sweet. They first time getting in the playoffs and they done got all the way to the finals. Right. But I think it's just a credit to them. Especially Book. He's the one who's been here the longest, been through some tough seasons here in Arizona and Phoenix. So it's nice, man. It's a great group to be around, and we just want to keep having fun.
And I keep going back to you knowing what it is, because you do. And there are still 3 to get, and no one's throwing a parade after tonight. But how are you best able to stay present, Chris, in these moments, recognizing what the stakes are with each victory, how much closer the ultimate prize becomes?
With me, it may be the experience, you know, the heartbreak, the tough losses, and understanding that it's not over till it's over. You know, it's just one game. You know, we here at home, we're supposed to win at home. Game 2 is the biggest game of the season right now. So with me, it's just about staying the course and making sure my guys stay locked in.
Well, Chris, I appreciate you stopping by after the victory. 3 more to get. Hopefully we can talk to you again throughout the process. I appreciate you being here.
Always, Scott. Appreciate you. Go Deeks.
There you go. Chris Paul, after a tremendous performance. And Stephen A., I'll welcome you back in. You heard what he had to say about the performances of these young guys. I'll get to you just in one second, Stephen A. You see a 30-point game in the NBA Finals at 36 or older all time. You know Kareem's on that list. He was ageless. Tim Duncan, you could say the same about him. And now Chris Paul, in his first NBA Finals game, joins that list. I wanted to get back to you, Stephen A., just to get your thoughts about what you heard, specifically about the youngsters, because this is their first playoff run, whether it's Booker or Ayton or Bridges. What are you seeing from those guys in complementing what Paul is providing?
Well, first of all, I'm seeing skill. Devin Booker is a star. This brother is special, and tonight was the latest example of how special he can be. Let's give major props to DeAndre Ayton. He had about 22 points, 19 rebounds, and was a constant presence and force throughout this evening. Mikal Bridges came off and hit a couple of threes. Obviously, Cameron Payne, he doesn't shoot much, but when he puts it up, it usually goes in. I'm sorry, not Cameron Payne, but Cameron Johnson. And then you look at Cameron Payne, what he comes in, what he's capable of doing off the bench. But it's a tribute and a credit to them that they're willing to listen to the tutors, to the just the leadership and the guidance from a veteran like CP3. In today's generation of players, so many times we look at youngsters and they've got the skill, and because they've got the skill, Scott, as you've reported on so many occasions, they've got the skills, they've got the bag, they know what they can bring to the table, and as a result, they feel they have arrived, that they don't necessarily need to listen to anybody. But right. CP3 comes here devoid of a championship, having had that escape him throughout his illustrious 16-year career, and despite the absence of a championship, they treat him like a champion because they respect the knowledge that he's trying to bless them with and the level of wisdom that he's imparted upon them. And so you got to give them credit where credit is due. To be young, to be established, to have the money, to have the skill set, to have all the adulation thrown in their direction, and to still be humbled enough to be held in check by a leader searching for his first championship, not one that came here as a champion. You got to give credit where credit is due. It shows that although they're young, they're incredibly mature, and they showed it tonight by being prepared for Game 1 and pretty much throughout these playoffs. Every single series they've walked into, they've come here prepared and ready to play and put somebody else on their heels to start the playoffs. You got to give credit where credit is due in that regard.
I agree. Really well put.